Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Bass and Bonsai back in the house. Not out at the range, not out on the water. We're going to take a little time. I never really did an unboxing, a true video, I think, on this Springfield Echelon. That's what we have in the box. So we're also going to talk about what it costs to get into one of these, what they're worth now, are they holding their value, are they as cool as a P320. We'll go into detail if you don't know about the Springfield Echelon, the fact they are modular like a P320. Although you can pretty much buy PSA dagger lowers for about the same price as one of these modules, even though you consider to have a firearm. If you're in a state like I am where I don't know if there's a limit to how many firearms I can own, there's probably a limit to how many I could sell in any given year, but I don't think there's a limit to how many firearms I can own. Some of you will say that's a good or bad thing, but keep your opinions to yourself. But no, I wanted to talk about this firearm because I actually tried to sell this. Now, I'm not selling anything. This is not for sale. I haven't decided what to do with it because I tried to, and the value on these, I guess, in my area is very low. So what I plan on doing is, or what I had planned on doing, I took it right back to where I bought it at Frontier Justice, and I was going to trade it back in on something different. And I'm not even going to mention how much, but I guess I should tell you. I gave $620 plus for this to them. I took it back up there. They offered me like $350, $375, something like that. Like way lower. And this is pretty much a new gun. It's been dry fired. It's been used for other various things to mess with these modules. I'd actually never shot this firearm. I shot theirs before I even bought one. Then I got into the dagger deals, if you know the channel. So anyway, I more or less decided that I should probably wait for the aftermarket to maybe catch up and see if there's something more and exciting that I want to do with the Springfield Echelon. If you don't know, you can already... There's a trigger out there. I can't remember the name of it, but I have seen somebody talk about messing with the trigger. I don't feel it needs any trigger work done. It's out of the box. The Springfield Echelon is a better trigger. I'm going to get it out of here before that flap drives me nuts. Out of the box is a better trigger than a stock Glock. As you've seen in my dagger builds, I can get a Glock trigger to feel better than this one. And I guess I should show you, even though it's still completely empty. Take up right to the wall, like there's no, it moves a little, but then it breaks. Kind of could be what some could consider long reset, but it all feels very good. We've already done trigger pulls on it. But since this is a new Echelon video, let's just do one. Got my handy dandy Wheeler gauge. You can see I've got it hooked right there. Pull the slack up. So just over 5. Let's do, and it is, you do want to do more than just one, because if you're trying to get an average, sometimes they just will pull a little weird. Yeah, so between 5, 5.5, and I have not done any work to try to make that a lighter. Like, I felt like that's a very good workable trigger right out of the package, right out of the box. It should work fine, right? The cool thing, I thought, and what kind of made me take this to see about trading it in, was the fact that SHOT Shows come and went, and I haven't heard any new news from Springfield or any major player on like some, cool modular things for this, just like that we have with the P320. So is this thing going to the wayside? Who knows? Right off the bat, it didn't take but a few months. They came out with the, they evidently had them all developed at roughly the same time, but you could get the full size frames. So I did do that, and somewhere these are not the same. Hang on. So the texture you could get different also. See how that one says texture? Now I've stippled and changed those. That's not what they come looking like. But I ordered a medium grip module, which is this one, large grip module, which I don't know if you can get it anything other than aggressive, but as far as I've seen, if it's a large grip module, it's going to come with aggressive texture, and if it's the medium, it comes with standard, and I haven't seen a small as they put it out in the wild. But I changed this one around and kind of tried to make it have that rough look, and this one's just one of the first ones I've done. I consider the stippling not as good, but it's actually a more less aggressive. I had people handle these like what I do now on the daggers, and they call that, they're like, wow, that's aggressive. Like, I guess they feel it's a little too much for their namby-pamby hands, but I think it's like, I don't know, that feels like, it's a peanut butter gun, but it doesn't feel like butter or peanut butter. It feels definitely like you're not going to lose your grip on that firearm. So, but the stock one is fine. So I left the stock one alone. I went and bought two different ones, a stock size one and then a large one, and played around with that, switched around, tried a few different optics on it. I did find out that just because it says it takes all these different ones, there are certain ones that will not fit. The older, some of these older, what they call the Doctor footprint or the Delta Point Pro, some of these red dots are just a little too long to fit down in a little cutout they got. You could make them fit, but I'm not going to go through all that. Right? Ain't nobody got time for that. So I just wanted to get a video out there talking about it, how the fact that and you guys, I wanted to get your guys' opinion also on what do you think about this firearm? Like, is it better? It's definitely not a Glock. There's no such thing as a Glock killer, but it's definitely not a Glock killer. Will it be something that's going to start growing? Everybody that I've seen on a video talking about shooting them definitely has no issues with the firearm. The only issue that popped out in the very beginning, and if you are hesitant in buying one of these, like I said, I have not even fired this one, so you can't really judge me other than the fact of the ones I fired at Frontier Justice, all the videos I watched before I bought one. The only issue I ever seen was if you put these magazines together wrong, and you could still have one put together wrong if you, because I heard talk that now it could just been a user error, and they said it came like that from the factory. These come with one 20 round and one 17, and they said that the one that came, was put on wrong. This metal part should be on the outside. You can actually put these together with the metal part on the inside, and it lets this flop around and it will fall off. That's the only negative thing, and it's strictly put together wrong. Once you put it together right with the same parts, a fully functioning firearm that I've yet to hear any issues popping up and around with. It's very good feeling. I just was hoping there would be more coming out, and then I got crazy into these daggers, and I end up having way too many firearms. So, if you have any questions on this, like, in my opinion, until either Springfield or somebody else, there was no point in adding a modular thing, almost not even the grips, because it changes it some. But you're dealing with a 4.5-inch striker-fired pistol that, as of right now, that's the only slide you can get. You get this barrel or a threaded barrel. I've yet to see anything, crazy pop up. Like, there's not a different, the grip size, there's not a subcomp. This is more of just a duty size, like a roughly more like a Glock 17 size, full size pistol. That's just all it still is. The modular, the fact you can take out the true, if you look in there, the serial number is inside. It's part of just like the FCU. I forget what they call this. I had the name in my head, but it doesn't really do the firearm any good to be interchangeable like that if all you can do is buy a couple different grip modules and that's the way it stays. It kind of takes away from that part of it. And who knows, you guys comment how many different things like I've said. I think the only thing I've seen, there's some sort of trigger upgrade. I don't know, I recall watching it in a video. It doesn't really need anything. I cut this down on one of my other ones, the bigger one that this moves back a little bit. I took that out to make the thumb mag release easier. Guess I could take that out and show you. And I still hadn't decided like which one I liked the best. I think I ended up liking the first one I did like that, and I kind of wished, and which I still can, and then just repaint it. I kind of wished I'd done it like I did this bigger grip, because it's hard to explain, but even though it's not changing much, it does give you, I guess it does make sense, the feel of holding on to a bigger all-around firearm. So when you're holding this one, all I've done, if you look right here, like, I don't think they added any at all to that. Maybe just a hair, but I don't think they thickened it any here. They just added this part back here. If you look here, so like where this line is, the little molding, that thickness right there is what they added to the grip, all the way up to in here. So it does move. In a sense, I think you could say that it moves your hand up, or easier to stay up a little higher, because it doesn't give you as much room to fall down and into. But when it did that, it just felt like that mag release was harder to hit when I had, with the way it was, which I had one of these, and I just did one side. On both sides, just like this one. Like this one, no bullets, no ammo. But anyway, this one, like you can still hit, but with that little piece there, once I did the large one, it made it harder. So with this one, I actually don't even need to move my thumb as much as I do on the smaller one to drop the mag, is why I cut that out, and I kind of relieved it to where if you do need to move the bigger thing around, I left that there and left it there. And yeah, this one probably needs repainted. I was going for the battle worn look, right? It was a thing. Is it still a thing? I don't know. But so everything works fine, no issues whatsoever. Still, a lot of people wondering, why did they stipple that? Who knows? It was plastic and they added texture to it. I have no idea why they think you might need to get a little grip on that. If there's a downside period to this firearm, is the fact that I've got decent sized hands, and no matter where I try to move this hand, I feel this is way up there, like it's way further than it needs to be. Like this one is the one where you'll find, or I just naturally find my thumb wanting to ride on. So it's like this, or is just like a. Now here, I guess it gives you a place to put your, something to kind of go by for your trigger finger. But that one up there, and then it only moving your hand back in here kind of lets you set back kind of a little tighter, so it only, if anything, it moves your hand even or just a hair even further back. So I felt like they're kind of cool idea what they did, just like what several firearms do, but you got to have a pretty big hand, long thumbs, to get way up there to where I feel where that would, really, it's like I'm taking away my support hand, the movement to get up in there. I'm better off to be back in here tight, which puts my thumb right on that. That is the only like ergonomics kind of issue, like on the stock, when everything as it comes in a box stock. And I feel that anybody, I don't know if anybody would need a smaller one. Like, I almost feel that that's too, like, I can actually stick and get my whole finger to jump in there, even though the trigger looks kind of like it's out. So I think fairly small hands could grab this gun, no problem too. Anyway, there it is. A little quick, short, take on the Echelon. How well will it hold its value as of right now? Not very well. It seems like there's not a used Echelon market. So I don't know. I think I might go back with this one. I may go ahead. Here's what I was gonna do, and I may still do this because oh shoot, I can't think of the name of. They mainly do M&Ps, but there's it's not Langdon Tactical. That's who I've been looking at for the PX4 Storm. There's another one that's doing some pretty good little cuts on this, but I thought about having it like some kind of, built-in porting done of some sort. The first one I saw was Roger at QVO Tactical. They sent it out, and Monsoon Tactical did their Lucky 7 porting, which kind of looks cool, but there's the other one, I can't think of their name. They actually cut into these more for that look, and then they added ports out here, which I don't like that idea. What I like the idea of is to go ahead and connect these serrations and either add some holes and ports through that, but blend it in, or just add the serrations and then do away with the front side and add what they call either the Genghis comp or the chunk port or whatever up here, and maybe not even mess with sights, or have the sight, slightly moved back, but put a big comp deal in the front is what I was going to do. But I added all that, once you start getting into that, you end up with more in doing that stuff than the firearm was originally, just to have it ported. It's not like a Glock. You can go buy a couple $100 slide, a $50 ported barrel, and swap them back and forth with like a Gen 3. This one, you're going to be looking at $300 to $500 is probably for the slide cuts and the barrel porting, that kind of stuff. And like I said, there's no true aftermarket stuff that I've seen out. I haven't seen that they've even released a true firearm module, fire control unit, whatever they call this one, by itself, like you can get the 320 to where because there's really no need, because I haven't seen anywhere where you can get different slides, other grip modules other than what is already out. Anyway, you guys comment what you think about this Echelon. Is it going to be one of those firearms that stick around? And I will tell you this, I've got a buddy, I'm not going to mention any names. I told him about this, and he likes the XDMs, and I think the XDM guys don't care for this. Like, they are happy just sticking with the Springfield XDMs. Got the grip safety, kind of a different beast than what this is, but he said that he just went and bought, like, he does some competition shooting. He's got a brand new one just setting just for if and when that other one that he has wears to the point where he feels he needs to replace it. I guess when this came out, instead of going and buying one of these, he's like, well, in case they discontinue the XDMs. And I think that's what a lot of guys are, because you won't hear a lot about, that's one thing about YouTubers and YouTube videos. You got to go back years to find stuff, because it's kind of what's hot now is what pops up on your feed and what other YouTubers start making videos on. And if you're, nowadays, the newest videos out are talking about, I'll use this for an example, and I'll show you that it's clear. But when you're talking about Glock type stuff, everybody, the new hotness of the, slide stop release to get it out of your way is the CAG works. It goes up and around, but before it was even around was this thing, like the bullet forward from Ghost. And I think it took me to go back like 6 years before I found a video where a guy was talking about that. And the firearms themselves are kind of like that. If you guys are familiar with GB Guns, I'd recommend watching his videos. He's kind of going back through all the stuff he's done. And he's not got a real, I don't know, 5 to 8 years, something like that. I'm not sure how long he's been doing videos, but he's kind of went back through his, you know, safe or vault or whatever you want to call it, and going kind of not really reviewing, just giving everybody a look of what has gone through. And then now you have a lot of guys jumping back on the PX4 Storm. I don't know if Brett is pushing that or whatever, you know, Langdon Tactical and whatever. And I keep hearing them talk about, like, well, why does that? They don't know why that gun never took off. Well, I'll tell you why the PX4 Storm never took off. That gun is but ugly. Like, that is a body that only daddy could love, right? It's one of those things to where I looked at it and I, you know, after watching several videos on how cool it is with the rotating barrel, I'm like, yeah, maybe, but they're you know, like going through the Langdon Tech, you're talking anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 gun that, other than softer recoil to a certain extent in a 9mm, which a lot of people say doesn't need anything to make it a softer recoil than just what a firearm is. It's just like one of those you got to, like, you know, have the taste for it, I guess, to where the Echelon came out and it looks very nice. Shoots very good, too. But it's just one of those things, like the, you know, striker-fired polymer pistol market is, I guess what you would say, saturated. Like, everybody and their brother either makes a Glock clone, or some will argue other striker-fired pistols that were, a lot of people consider Glock clones, like the Walther PDP or the FN 509s or whatever. Then there's other companies making copies of those kind of thing going on. And so, like, is there room for some of these die off and, you know, pop up? And I'm just kind of curious what's going on with this Echelon. Because, like I mentioned, no... where's the, like, cool aftermarket support? I would have thought by now if this would, and it may be one of those deals that it'll just take off a little later. I would have just thought that you would already have seen stuff coming out. I do like the gun, though. I should just keep it, put my... Actually, what I was going to do is going to send that off and get it done. Then I was going to add the, I like the look. If you guys don't know, and I know I'm talking about a lot of other stuff other than do with the Echelon. Freedom Gorilla is another, it's a store I think that sells a lot of, you know, I don't know if they sell actual firearms, but sell a lot of the Holosuns is what I know them for. They go through the most on trying out different Holosun red dots on a bunch of different firearms and this and that, but they were one of the first ones I saw that they put the Holosun that's designed for the P320. They call it's the MOS 320, or not the MOS, the SCS 320, but it's designed for the footprint for a SIG. I think the 320s and maybe even some of the other ones, but it'll fit on this because it's basically a Delta Point Pro footprint, which this will accept. And so they had one on there, and it looks very good, I thought, on this. And it is one of the better looking, still small, closed emitter, you know, but it's got this window on the back also that I believe, yeah, it's got almost all, oh, actually is the one that doesn't have the battery. So it's just like all the other SCS ones, the MOS one that you've seen for the Glocks, and they make several others, but so I don't know, but that one I think it's only a green dot, and you can't hardly find anything under $350 or $375. I think they're retail for $399. But I was going to get one of those, put on this, and then if at some other point in time I could always take it off and put it on a P320, because I was going to build one of those. I was going to get an M18 or 17 to start with because it's got a built-in, you know, manual safety. And I was going to go with that fire control unit, and then go from there and get the M18, what do they call that? The Bauer grip that I've watched RDR Gear talk about. Micah Mayfield's talked about it. Kind of changes the 320 into more like a 1911 style angle. and I was going to do the comp thing, kind of like this dude right here. So I'm done with that. Hopefully you guys like Springfield video. I'm going to talk about this real quick, updates on the channel. I'm going to go back to the range. I repainted my comp. That is, and somebody had asked me, it's a Harrington Arms, but it's, you can't go with that. I cut that to match this barrel. It's HC95 or something like that, or HA95, HC95, but it doesn't come cut like this. This, well, here was longer, and this was more of this was different. So I kind of shaped that to fit to where it's more of a matching deal. And this is the Glock 26 slide on our Dagger, the full-size S-frame. Locks back, fires, but you can only load 2 in the magazine for true reliability. Anything more, and so I'm just going to go try to throw 50 rounds through it, see if I can get it a little better. That's our true surefire. It's not a knockoff. Side note, this control is harder. Switches are harder and harder to push. Everything about the light is a little harder and stiffer than the knockoffs I got. Which, I mean, yeah, it'll stay on, but like I noticed when you're trying to just, that part isn't too bad, but it is harder to push, and then pushing down can be kind of a, what some people would call a booger, and then shutting it back off. Like I just feel the controls are a little harder to operate than these AliExpress knockoffs. I mean, I don't have a battery in this one, but it's just a softer feeling working controls. There's more of a, I mean, they are, I will give it that, they're easier to knock back off, but they just seem to work easier to manipulate. Unlike you guys, right? So anyway, be looking forward to that. You guys saw it's empty. Let's shoot the magazine. Still dealing, I don't even remember. Let's see. I don't remember what trigger pull I'm dealing with on this firearm now. What do I do with my gauge? And then we're going to end this video. I'm going to put this grip module back up. I don't even know what I did with my gauge. Here it is. Let's see. Just so I'll know, it needs a little work. Yep, about the same, just over 5. So it's still pretty much stock, other than I took up some of the take up on that shoe, so just a little bit before the, try it one more time. So yeah, right at 5. But I know it won't be a problem to get it like this guy. Same thing basically. Just a little, I got it like as close as you can get it. And it's still on the shelf. They're both still on the shelf. So you got that much take up. Did I show you this one's empty? I think I already did. So a little bit of movement. Let's check it. Let's see what it's pulling at today. And that's what's fun. Once I got this gauge and started checking, you'd be surprised how every trigger I have anyway, it may go a half pound one way or the other on any given day. I don't know if it's temperature, humidity, what. So that times 4.5. Could be the angle. I don't know. There's just a bunch of stuff that, in my opinion, go into like getting this is hard to say that this is a good accurate way to get a true trigger weight measurement. So that time just over 4, because I was going to say this one is usually like right around that 4, like almost even with 4 most of the time, which is perfect for me. I don't really care for anything. Once they get too low, which I've got a couple that are down in the 3, 3.5, the Timney Alpha one, and then the I think this is my best true, still old school Glock cruciform you know, everything is pretty much Gen 3 style. The Glock Performance trigger I've got in my green one is definitely like at 3.5 with the Vex trigger shoe on it. And then the Timney Alpha is like at 3. They're close to the same, 3.5. Very lightweight. And that's without really polishing everything up. This one's got like everything polished, a couple different light and different stuff here and there. But it just... I'd say the green gun, then this one are my favorites. Then I can't like the Timney Alpha because you guys know the deal with the reset. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you got any comments on anything you've seen or heard in this video, I do think this one, yeah, see this one and this one, they feel real good and feel close. This one, even though it's got a, like you can just measure, it's like 4, this is like 5. They feel closer than that when you're even testing them by hand. Like it's, I don't know if it's because this one's got a little smoother surface I'm working with. This one, I don't know why. It's hard to explain. It's almost like, let me check that again. Yeah, I don't know. You can just, I guess maybe if I really sit and concentrate, I can feel that this one takes a little more to pull, but they feel very good. I like the way both of these feel. And like I said, one's like just over 4 and the other one's like just over 5. So there's like a pound difference, but it's hard to tell that difference. Like the ones that are 3, 3.5, I can tell that difference. And like this one is about the same as that one. I'd swear that one's lighter, but the trigger pull weight is pretty much the same. I think this one's still got a very heavy striker spring. So I think that is. Like you can hear it. It's banging. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Get out, go buy some bonsai, and pick you up one of these Springfield Echelons if you can find a deal. What deal would I say? I don't know. I don't even know what these... I guess I need to check what they're going for used. But new, they're still like 620, 650, 675 with the threaded barrel. I'm gone.